Hi Jane, and we've seen some wet and windy weather move in today. That's the theme of our weather for much of this week. This was one of our Weather Watch pictures sent in around the Cardigan Bay area showing large battering waves, and no wonder why. We've had gusts of wind around Wales reaching well into the 60s of miles an hour, and earlier today the M48 bridge across the Severn was shut due to those strong winds.
Good afternoon. It certainly feels like autumn has arrived. Quite a grey day today and fairly gusty winds as well.
Good evening and a very warm and windy welcome to you from the top of the London Eye for this very special world first broadcast from the top of the London Eye. What have we got for you tonight? Well, I'm afraid the weather's not too great as we head through the next few days. Particularly tomorrow we've got rain moving in. It's also staying windy into Thursday and Friday. Then we're looking at good old sunshine and showers.
Hi Fiona. Well, many of us have seen a bit of rain out there today, and you've probably noticed that the winds have been picking up as well. In fact, we've had gusts as high as 60, even 70 miles per hour around some coastal parts. This is the picture in Portstewart a little bit earlier on. We've got some big waves around the coast, and that's going to be the picture over the next 24 to 48 hours for many of us. So some strong winds, some heavy downpours as well, really feeling very autumnal. What we're going to see is the remnants of ex-Hurricane Lee actually moving in from the Atlantic, sweeping this front across the UK. So because it's the remnants of an ex-hurricane, it's quite mild air coming from the tropics, but it's also producing a lot of wind.
Now, I don't know about you, but the boots are on and it's blustery out there. Let's get the latest on the weather with Kirsty. Hello.
Good evening. It is a bit of a windy mix of weather we're having over the next few days, and it's going to continue. In fact, if anything, getting a little bit windier tomorrow. You can see, in fact, the wind blowing the trees there. The skies over Twickenham looking pretty windy and grey, the bushes and the trees both moving in the wind, and it's been so grey today, and that cloud thick enough to bring in a few spots of rain and drizzle, so it has been a bit disappointing for some, but we've had a few drier slots as well. Just not much brightness at the moment. The temperature's down. It's certainly going to feel a little bit fresher as we head towards the end of the week, so more mid to high teens. And then it looks rather interesting for the weekend and ahead. Hopefully settling down for the start of the weekend, but we've got the remnants of an ex-hurricane, which will make things warmer, but rather more unsettled.
And those temperatures just edging back a little bit closer to average for the time of year. Now this weekend, Saturday's the better of the 2 days. Dry and sunny for most of the day. Bit of rain returning late on in the west, but we're back to wet and windy conditions by Sunday.
And I'm pleased to say Alex is safely on the ground in Richmond in southwest London. And Alex, you said earlier, the nights are drawing in quickly this time of year, aren't they?
I know. So, yeah, we're at Pembroke Lodge, which is in Richmond, and the sunset here was at 7 minutes past 7, and you can see it is getting darker by the second. Certainly a sign of things to come, and perhaps some weather that we've been seeing over the last 24 hours or so. Also a sign that we are heading very fast into autumn. It's been another pretty unsettled day. The wind has been really picking up, particularly out towards western parts. I have to point out, though, that there aren't any wind warnings in place at the moment, but it certainly is very noticeable, and they're expected to touch gale force as we head through the overnight period into tomorrow, particularly out towards western parts of Britain. But I brought you the warnings that were in place yesterday evening. They have since been updated, so I think it's worth taking a look at where we have our current rain warnings in place, certainly in the same areas across Wales and the northwest of England. But earlier today, the Met Office added parts to Scotland as well, and we could see another 40-50 millimetres of rain falling in these areas. So that could lead to more impacts. In fact, we have seen some impacts today across parts of Yorkshire and also in North Wales. The Conway Valley certainly saw some flooding a little earlier. Let's take a quick look at where it's all coming from. As I mentioned, it is the remnants of ex-Hurricane Lee, and as that makes its way eastwards, we are going to see a fairly deep area of low pressure moving into tomorrow, more outbreaks of rain, and the possibility of those warnings being updated again. Well, there certainly is going to be more of an autumnal feel as we head through the next few days, with temperatures certainly feeling on the cool side, particularly once you add in a little bit of wind chill, actually. As I say, out towards western coast, they'll be touching gale force tomorrow. Well, that's the way it is looking here in Richmond, Surrey this evening. As I say, those weather warnings very much in place until, well, tomorrow evening, in fact, but there is a chance that it could be updated overnight.